Welcome back to the Tracy Take. I am Tyler here with my brother Ryan, and today we are doing the New Orleans Saints 7-round mock draft. Ryan and I, we did all 255 picks in the 2024 NFL mock draft series. So today we're going to be going over all of the New Orleans Saints picks. Before we do that, though, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified whenever new Saints videos come out. We've already done a 3-round mock draft for them. We have Mock Draft Monday that comes out every Monday. And then also as well, we have other 3-round and 7-round mock draft series leading up all the way to the 2024 NFL draft. So be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified whenever new Saints videos drop. Let's orient you a little bit here to what you're seeing. Obviously, it's going to be at the very top. You'll see what round that this is. You can obviously see the Saints pick in bold. We'll get to that in a second. We wanted to include a couple of the team that picked before and who they picked and also after as well, just to give some context on who was taken and who was available. Also to the right, there are some other players that were available that we thought they could potentially take here at pick 14. You can also see the team that they picked and what pick that was. So the Saints here, I think probably their biggest thing overall, they had one of the worst offensive lines in the league last year. I think that they are dealing with a lot of cap issues as well. I think they have the worst cap going into the 2024 cap situation going into the 2024 offseason. And also, too, I think they are getting up there in age, just as an overall sense. So I think they're going to try and get younger. I think getting a guy like Talise Fuaga, someone you've been very high on this entire time, I think helps notch off a lot of those things all at once. I think he comes in at right tackle, and he's instantly the day one starter.
Oh, for sure. I mean, to me, he's the best pure run blocker in this class of all the tackles. He finishes really well. He gets out of his stance really quickly. He has good feet. And then, like, that's not to say he's a bad pass blocker. He has a good kick step when he gets out off the snap. Like, he's athletic. He has good hands. He's very patient. Like, he just kind of manhandles some defensive ends, and like he played at Oregon State. Like, they played against good edge rushers. So it was really fascinating kind of watching what he was able to do there. He is a little bit older, but again, I think he's a plug and play right tackle. If they do somehow retain some of the offensive linemen that are free agents and they want to kick him into guard also, I think he would be fine to play at guard for a little bit and then kick out later on in his career. I just think, like, right now they need good starting caliber players, and that's to me exactly what Talise Fuaga is. To me, he's an above average starting tackle in the NFL right now, and I just think he's a really solid player. So.
Yeah. And there's so many different ways I think they can go with the offensive line because they're going to be in a sweet spot because, as you can see to the right, you got J.C. Latham, Tyler Guyton. We didn't even include Amarius Mims that was in here, but other guys maybe could work their way up like Jordan Morgan, Patrick Paul. But I also think then, too, the emergence of Jackson Powers-Johnson and his Senior Bowl performance. Yeah, I don't think it'd be out of the realm of possibility if they wanted to address the center position as well. Just trying to get better in all facets on the offensive line. So let's move on now to their second pick overall. We address the offensive side of the trenches and address the defensive side of the trenches as well. Chris Braswell, edge rusher from Alabama. Just like the athlete overall, I think, once again, as what I mentioned, they just need to get a little bit younger kind of everywhere. I think starting on the defensive line, that's where they can win a lot of games. And so they need to get a little bit better there. Cameron Jordan is getting up there in age. And so some of the guys also as well on the defense who are free agents, they might not be able to retain just because of their cap space issues going in. So I think going in, addressing both the offensive and defensive line, I think just setting up good foundation for the future for the Saints.
Yeah, and honestly, a lot of the things I said about Talise Fuaga, I'm going to say about Chris Braswell. He's just a really solid edge rusher. Plays well against the run. He's going to get good pressure in pure passing downs. I really like what he brings to the table. Is he as athletic as a Dallas Turner or a Chop Robinson? No, but like, he again is just a really solid all around player. He's an NFL caliber player, and I think he's going to probably start for them from day one. So with some of the changes going on, Cam Jordan is a potential cut candidate with his salary and their salary cap issues as an organization. I think you come in, you give yourself a little bit of a security blanket, drafting a guy like Chris Braswell, who has a pretty high floor, in my opinion. So let's move on to their third round pick. Oh, I'm sorry, they don't have a third round pick.
Well, that was actually going to be one thing I was going to say coming here is I will say one thing with both their 14th pick and their 45th pick, I think are major trade back candidates because of what you're seeing here now. it's over 100 picks from their 45th pick now, then to their pick in the 5th round. So they don't even pick in the 3rd or the 4th round. So they can sleep in on Saturday of the draft. So and then they have a lot of picks. Then it seems like back to back to back. They have 7 picks, 3 in a row here, ended up the 5th. They have a lot of compensatory picks. So I would not be surprised if there is some movement for them overall. If they trade back, and they'll go back 15 picks maybe in the 2nd round and pick up a 3rd, but then they'll give up a 5th or 2 5ths, because they have a lot of day 3 picks here overall, just to give some maneuverability. But really, kind of our goal with this and going through, we're just trying to find the best players overall. Like I love the Javon Baker from UCF. That was one of the guys that you were really high on. But I think he can come in and help contribute, be a good consistent guy across from Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah, I like Javon Baker. He's a really solid athlete, so getting that here at 149 is solid. The guy that I really love is Dalen Holker, the tight end from Colorado State. We had Mohamed Kamara going to your Atlanta Falcons. I think another steal from Colorado State is Dalen Holker. Not going to be much in the blocking category of things, but just a freak athlete at receiver. 6'5", 235, just a solid receiving tight end. And I really could see maybe Travis Kelce's a little bit high, but like top 3, like maybe a Sam Laporta rookie season out of this guy, just like because of how talented he is as a pass catcher. And like looking back on it, the fact that he fell to 169 in this draft class is really solid. But then from there, it's like I just kind of continuing to address the trenches with the offensive linemen, with the defensive tackles. They do get a safety with Keaton Oladapo. And like, again, I just think for the Saints, they just wanted to go in, draft good players, get guys that can come in and contribute right away. And I think that's kind of what we did for them here. And all in all, like one of the things I always ask myself is like, do you think this team is better now than they were before? And I think you look at the situation that the Saints are in, and I think with drafts like this, they're trying to set a new foundation. Like they are having a changing of the guard in their leadership, in their locker room, simply because they can't afford well, they're getting older, and they also can't afford to keep a lot of these older guys over young talent. And so I think they need to go and get guys that are going to be a little bit more NFL ready, rather than taking risks on developmental players that are going to sit for a little while.
Yeah. We've been talking for some time now too. It's like one of the Saints going to blow it up because they're just good enough to always be in that like 8 to 9, 9 to 8 type record, but never good enough, to go to that, like to the big game, so to say. Or the only reason why they're competing for the division is just because the NFC South is garbage. So I think to your point, I think you go get a guy like Talise Fuaga. That's a guy, he's going to be there for 10 years. I think Chris Braswell's a guy, if he does reach his potential, I think could be one of the better edge rushers on the team, potentially even in the entire division as well. Provide good, consistent minutes and get consistent quality sacks. Then on top of that too, then getting with all the late day 3 picks that they have, trying to spread the wealth, go and find guys that can come in and help contribute, make the team better immediately, just like you said. So in general, I think the Saints, all things considered, I think the Saints draft is pretty solid. So very curious to kind of see how this changes, how the combine changes things, and the overall view of some of these players as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm really curious to see what Saints fans think of this. So let's go ahead and wrap it up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on what you thought of this 7-round mock draft. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you do differently? And other than that, we will see you guys next time.